Good evening, YouTube. HeirofCarthage here, and yes, you are back in the end times, and I'm gonna be your narrator and guide, showing you how Archaon destroyed the old world, I guess at least in our own way, with our own lore and story. Thank you once again for everybody participating. Last episode was like all the others. Lots of viewer viewing, and I appreciate it. I've never had this kind of viewership this long into a campaign, and it makes this particularly fun for me to make you. And honestly, the theme has been really fun for me too. I love kind of having a story to chase after. And thank you for all the comments. Number one, there was a ton of comments, 199 by the time I started filming this. So tons of comments. I obviously can't get back to all of them, but I do want to say thank you to everybody who did leave comments. And one really quick one, Matthew Plett, thanks for coming back and watching the videos. He said that he hadn't been around since Rome 2. So thank you for being here, sir. It is good to have you back watching the videos. Always appreciate it, and I hope you are well. Hey, let's jump right into a few of the comments that people left. Obviously, I got a ton of feedback from people because I talked a little bit about doing more of these narrative campaigns. And obviously, the folks who are watching this are enjoying it overwhelmingly, which is what the stats say. And so people were like, well, you should obviously do more. And there was a ton of suggestions. We will do more. So I'll go ahead and promise you all that now. There will be more of these narrative-themed type campaigns. Now, that said, Brad Johnston suggested that we name the Terhilius character Terhilius the Chronicler, rather than Terhilius who tells us, so we can do that. So let's go here and name him Terhilius the Chronicler. Oh wow, is my caps lock on? It sure is. The Chronicler. Can I spell? Probably not. I think this is it. Chronicler. If it's not, you guys can correct me later. So good suggestion, Brad. Thanks. I have someone in my chat who has been very insistent, and this is Centurion Titus, who insists that we name one of the Shaggoths Kevin. And he has quite a story for Kevin, but basically he's Kevin. You all should go look at Centurion Titus's. Even had a hashtag justice for Kevin, so here you go. I have seen your comment, and you have a dragon ogre named Kevin. Now, I did mention in the last episode that since we named a character after Terhilius, and this is him right here, that he could write a story about himself, and he did put a short story here together, I guess about his own character. He says, Vardak Krum, champion of Archaon, king of the Kurgans, master of the blade, was pretty sure the Ever-Chosen secretly loathed them. And so Krum beheaded the puny Imperial Lord. This single blow shattering the morale of the whole Southern army, the sorcerer spoke loud and clearly, while he fought by Krum's side, killing dozens with his dark magic and never shutting up. And that was the problem. The first 3 days, having someone narrate his deeds was nearly pleasing for Krum. The main problem, however, was that the sorcerer known as Terhilius did not wish to see any of the paladin's actions unnarrated. Krum sneezed, for he had forgotten his cape in the last looted town. Still it was a mighty sneeze, blooming so loudly that it scattered the beast and men alike to the seven winds. And sometimes it just got ridiculous. Vardak went to some bushes, for he needed privacy to take a... Krum rose, his face red with fury. If you don't want your last words to be, and then the skin of the annoyed sorcerer was used as toilet paper, then get up and shut up. The sorcerer did so, yet still mumbled under his breath. Clearly a diet of all meat and no vegetables had caused the great paladin to have stomach problems, thus affecting his mood. Man, narrating a dump. Terhilius could narrate anything and make us love it. Terhilius, I'm glad you're in the campaign. Thank you for always having the stories. Y'all make sure and go in the comments and say thanks to Terhilius. I'm sure he's written something, so you can always go put a thanks on there. All right, a couple other things. I'm not necessarily going to read comments, but people made a few suggestions for names. One of the names here was that we have one of the Chosens be named the Butchers of Bordalo. I think that works good, and I don't think we've named any of our standard Chosen here, so why don't we give some of them a name here? So, if it'll fit, I'm worried it won't. Bordalo, hang on. Leaux, I think? Alright. Yep, it'll fit. We're good. We had another person suggest that we name one of the Chaos Knights the Ever Knights. That works for me. I'm taking names here. If you guys have more suggestions, you can let me know. And this could be for units in anybody's armies. I may not get to every single one of them, but I will do my best. There was another knight name that was pretty good here, and it was Chivalry's End. I like that. Good name for the Bretonnian wrecking. And then one other person wanted me to name it Chosen, and he was wanting to name it the Peasant Impalers. And I can do that here on a Chosen with Halberds. I think that that is an appropriate name for them, since they could skewer peasants quite effectively. And then there was one other Chaos Knights name that I really enjoyed, and it was Chaos Knights Errant. Huh? Get it? I like it. Alright, someone else mentioned that the auto-resolve killed Vardek Crom's giant. Is that what happened? Yes. Sure enough did. You do have some ruinous powers, sir. Let's see, which building's going to give me the giant? I'm trying to know. It's this one all the way. I got to go all the way up to tier 5. Well, that's annoying. I can't get him a giant back easily at this point. I'm trying to think if there's kind of a good stand-in unit for the time being that he can do. He doesn't have enough population surplus, so he's just going to have to work without the giant temporarily, and we'll get the giant back at our first available opportunity. Now, Terhilius the Chronicler needs a skill point spent here. I definitely want to give him Pit of Shade so that he can create many stories of the pain and suffering of those being sent to another realm at his hand. I think we are almost ready to end a turn. Felman Ingerson picks up a skill point as well. Oh, Felman, you wonderful Norscan YOLO lord. Let's see here. What's Felman's army again? So Felman is a bunch of Forsaken trolls. Let's go back over to his skills. I feel like Chaos Knights, Dragon Ogres, Gore Beast. So this one's Trolls, Giants. It would be good to make his Trolls a little bit stronger. And we've got plenty of skill points available because I'm using the 60 skill point mod. So Coco Pox also leveled up. Coco Pox is a great one. I did this one for Reptile King because I know that he wanted this one real bad, and it is a good one. I've been enjoying Coco Pox. Fun name. He's been doing a lot of damage too. Let's see. Looks like Kolek is at 19 out of 20 units as well. We've got all of his Dragon Ogres. It looks like, at least. If I'm missing a unit, I'm not really sure what it is at this point. Huh. We got tons of speed in this. I guess if I'm missing one, it's just got to be a Dragon Ogre, because I believe this is the right number of Shaggoths. So we would just be missing a Dragon Ogre. Now I can't recruit it this turn because we're busy, and I cannot move either Patchy the Eversalt or Prince Sigvald. But Archaon the Everchosen can be moved. And let's see, there are more Bretonnian provinces around me. It looks like they've resettled Coron, of course. Of course. Just, you know, you want to rid a world of peasants and you just can't get it done. I say we leave the destruction of Bretonnia to Vardek, who is more than capable. And I say we take Archaon on an adventure. And hopefully a very interesting and challenging adventure. He's going to go obtain the Sword of Cain. So we are going to go obtain the Sword of Cain with the Everchosen. So we're going to sail across, and it's going to be quite a journey to get him over there, but the Lizardmen will cough up the sword. That's all there is to that. Now, Vardek, we could have him go wreck this stuff in the north. We're still dealing with Vampire Scuzz, and it's preventing Norska from expanding. I think we need to send more favor and demand more skulls from our Norscan allies.
Let's talk terms. But with any disagreements, there'll be a challenge. Okay.
Let's do the same thing with the Sornling.
Enter then.
I demand that you take this money,
a fist fight, or both.
and you bring me skulls for the Skull Throne. Watch them get extincted on the next turn. That's a very real possibility with Manfred hanging out back there. So we'll quickly move to try and keep them alive. We need to get rid of what's left of Clan Molder, because they'll just go around and make a big mess of things as well. Alright, Vardek. So the question is where to take him. How do they... There's obviously a Bretonnian army somewhere over here near, because I just recently destroyed Grungzent. Yes, there we go, the Fey Enchantress. Let's go catch her and destroy her. Well, folks, during the turn end, the Fey Enchantress, whose head must be filled with straw, resettled Marienberg right in front of my face, which is an odd move since it takes away almost all the strength for army, but it gave her a garrison just right off the bat, which doesn't happen for a player, by the way, so enjoy your cheats, AI. So, anyway, we're gonna fight and take this from the Fey Enchantress. This is ridiculous. Gonna kill these troops and take care of business here. Alright, folks, Kevin's gonna make his debut here. Very ferocious sounding dragon ogre with the name of Kevin. Those gates won't last very long with him working on it. Vardek has Romulus and Remus here, making short work of these Bretonnians. Wait, I think is this Romulus and Remus? I can't remember if we've given them names. Honestly, yeah, it would show up here. This is not Romulus and Remus. These are just two Manticore, I believe. So otherwise, I do believe that the names would be showing up. So I can't ever remember what army I put them in. I think it's in Felman's army that we gave them the names. My Chosen are beginning to scale the wall, and the Bretonnians are not going to like this. At least I wouldn't if I were them. And then the gates are sure not to last long with the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth working on them. They were being destroyed quickly. The peasant archers are being a nuisance to my Feral Manticore, so I'm going to be swooping in and out of combat, destroying them. You can already see the peasants here preparing their defenses. The damsel and her foot squires, I suppose, are some of the last lines of defense. Kevin's axe already beginning to pierce the gate. Kevin, you sound so weird. Oh boy, here we go. Anyway, so the Chosen are going to start ripping apart these men-at-arms, who are basically just peasants who took off their normal soiled clothes and put on a uniform, only to resoil the uniform as they are splayed by Manticores. See our Dragon Ogre coming right on through, straight to the Grail Relic. So the token of morale for Bretonnia will be one of the first things to fall. Oh boy, just look what's coming through the gate here. It's about to get ugly. Peasant. Woo. Yeah, these Bretonnians are way out of their league. Attacking them with Archaon, I would say it's a war crime, but we're chaos, and I don't really know that such things are possible. Check out this sweet custom map that they put together, though, for the settlement here. This is a Marienberg map. You have the port out here in the background. Very, very cool. I like it. Someone did some really nice work there. You can see there are some Bretonnian troops back here, including some Pegasus Knights. They're kind of back at the victory points, but the bulk of their troops are up here on the wall. And their troops on the wall are suffering heavy casualties at being insanely overmatched. These spearmen have modified pitchforks. The foot squires still entirely overmatched. And now the Knights of Chaos have entered, and they're going to begin forming up. And the Chivalry's End will get a chance to... or no, that's in Archaon's army, unfortunately. But speaking of the end of Chivalry, this is all that remains of the noblemen of Bretonnia. They do have a paladin with them. You can see here the Knights of Chaos funneling into the crossing. They'll begin to rip apart these few remaining. But check it out, the Fey Enchantress using her Chalice of Potions here is going to summon up a little bit of pain for my knights. Here she comes, floating across the bridge. That is pretty cool looking. So she's going to come in and give us a show here. It won't be a very long-lasting show. I'm honestly not entirely sure how the Bretonnians' morale hasn't completely shattered at this point. It has to be just because the AI gets leadership buffs arbitrarily to help them with their stinkiness. And she may be beautiful and awe-inspiring to the peasants, but my troops hardly even pay a second attention to the Fae who's floating there. Well, I guess Kevin wants to give her some attention. Do you guys like that friendly fire from the Hell Cannon there? Believe it or not, that was not actually intentional. I don't even know what it was firing at. So the Fae Enchantress is in big trouble. There are some regrouping units back here, including a few peasant archers. But the resistance of Bretonnia will shatter. The only reason why I think it has not is because those few units back at the victory points are not engaged, and so their leadership is staying a hair higher, just enough to keep an absolute chain rout from happening. But as the Fae lives out her last few moments here on the bridge, she'll be taken down. This last remaining knights cut off of their steeds. And the Fae is going to rout. I don't know how she lasted that long, to be quite honest. And that's going to be the end of Bretonnia. At Marienberg, at least. So Vardek, I believe, teaches the Fae Enchantress a little lesson here in resettlement strategy, which is don't do it right in front of a superior army. And without a proper garrison. You're going to get yourself trapped. Better make sure you got the forces behind the wall to handle it. So once again, the peasants prove that their brains are full of straw, much as Terhilius' story indicated a couple episodes ago. So we'll get a lot of loot from defeating their army. The loot from raising it isn't worth it, so we're going to take the growth. Vardek's stack needs it anyway. We pick up a Hellfire Sword, which is actually kind of a nice grab, and we defeated the Fae Enchantress. I too quickly went through their trait grain, Vardek. Casualty replenishment rate plus 10. That's very good, actually. That's very good. So I love how defeating these legendary lords like gives you some trait of remembrance for it. It's really a very awesome feature that Creative Assembly put into this, and it is really, really fun. Really fun. So we do have the 3 surplus in his army now. That'll help to get another building started potentially. And then Archaon is just going to continue his sail towards the Sword of Cain, which is going to take a very long sail. We'll keep an eye on him. He's crossed over the main point there. The elves are busy putting together their armies as quickly as they can, and they have a significant army here with Silver Helms and Sisters, but I'm feeling pretty confident that with our Hell Cannons and other things here, we can control the High Elf armies quite alright, unless we just get into a massively overwhelming situation. I'm going to go ahead and siege here so that they can't continue to create units. So I will go ahead and start to build some towers and continue the siege, and then I'm going to move up Patchy and the Kentucky Friar here to keep the pressure high. So with their lord watching from the coast, they have to prove their value. Now, miraculously here, we have not seen the destruction of Besornling yet. That's a yet. I'm going to swing that way. And then Felman Ingerson, I really need to check over here to see what the rats have resettled. Because they have probably resettled things. I wonder if it gives any of it away in here. The fact that Clan Mulder has been alive this long is... I reek of Warpstone. You're the one over there snorting it, ugly. Alright, we need to wreck these vampires as well. So I think what we're going to do is move Felman's army over here, go into an encamped stance, recruit a hero. I'm just going to get an exalted hero because that's all I can get right now. Holy crap, man, that's a good one too. We're going to take this exalted hero. I'm going to go ahead and start making him better at assassinate and specialist. Training, because I can't do the others right now. We're going to use this hero to go search these ruins and see where the Skaven have resettled. In the meantime, I'm going to swing and make sure that my Norscan allies stay alive and try and polish off the von Karsteins once and for all. And then we got to find out where the dwarves are hiding. Ah, Zufbar. So they're here. So Kolek does need to make his way south. I'm not going to spend too much time, because if we look at the victory conditions, we're well on the way to defeating Bretonnia. Lothern is well on the way, and the dwarves are the only ones who, other than the dwarves of Krakadrak, have gone relatively untouched this campaign. Folks, I just don't understand how the rats don't learn their lesson. Thousands and thousands of rats die, and Treyr just comes back with more. Apparently there's a settlement right where I'm standing. So this one is not an ambush though, so the rats will find themselves at a significant disadvantage, and they only have one warp lightning cannon. I'm certainly tired of Clan Moulder getting a pass and then coming at me with these giant stacks, and Felman is going into like full Orcan Man extermination mode of Clan Moulder at this point. Felman is probably covering his armor in rat poison as we speak. Speaking of rat extermination, my two hell cannons are going to have plenty of delicious targets here. Most of the rat targets here are actually pretty low tier. I will start targeting their skirmishers as soon as I'm able to see them. When I look at this battle ahead of time, my Forsaken are going to get overwhelmed by numbers. However, the rats really don't have any answer to my Chosen except for artillery and warp lightning spells. So they can't touch my Chosen. Not with a 10-foot pole. So despite a lot of my units probably taking quite a few losses, there's no way the rats will be able to overcome my Chosen. I'm going to use my two Manticore to go assassinate the leadership of the Skaven, because that's going to be one of the quickest ways to deal with their army. Check out the Aspiring Champions. They'll actually do pretty good in this fight. Even though they're few in number, the quality of the rat units is pretty insignificant. So you can see my Chosen's going to immediately crash in along with Felman. So not put Felman's name on there. How insulting. So Felman is going to be doing the destroying here. See that a purple sun there from Cocoa Pox is able to rip its way through some of the Skaven infantry. I decided to keep Cocoa Pox back. See, it has his name there. Why does it cheat me on the name here? CA, please. In any case, yeah, I'm going to use my Hell Cannons here to help break up this blob a little, because there's a rather large blob of Skaven on this flank. You can see my two Manticore immediately get in and start ripping apart the Grey Seer. And then there's two Grey Seers here, actually, and they're being quickly destroyed. So that should really ditch the leadership of the Skaven, if they really have any leadership to begin with. They have yet another Grey Seer over here. And then they're going to have a lot of reinforcements. The total number of Skaven is actually going to be around 5,000 once again. And although it looks bad for me, like that my units are crumbling here, these are relatively trashy Skaven units. And I've got Trolls and Cocoa Pox and Gore Beast Chariots. And like I said, here in the middle, no question how quickly my Chosen are going to be able to deal with these units. It's just going to be an absolute Skaven slaughter at the hands of units that are far beyond the capability of the Skaven to counter. Let's move out over here, and I'll just kind of show you how we managed to mop these units up. You can see here that just a quick charge from my Chariots breaks up a lot of this infantry. I'm going to bring a few Trolls over. And then I did get rid of a couple of their leaders. One of them is already coming back from routing, as is typical Skaven business. But I'm going to go ahead and send my Manticore back here to get rid of yet another Grey Seer. And then there's a Warlock Engineer in the middle of this fight who's been pretty busy getting owned. The Manticore seem to do pretty good quick work. against that leadership. So yeah, my Hell Cannons are going to start working over the Skaven Slave Slingers. And there's some Gutter Runners here. They're going to be quite annoying as well. You can see I'm just keeping my Hell Cannons safe from these units. I got the Trolls coming to run off the Gutter Runner Slingers. I've got my Chosen working over here to cut off the Death Runners in case they make a run for my cannon, which they do decide to try. Skaven reinforcements will be coming on from the back of the map here. I actually had my chariots chasing off these routing units, and they lost their attack order. And then I had accidentally clicked them somewhere else, and immediately all those Skaven units returned to the battlefield rather than being escorted off. So that's kind of a problem, because I had a lot of them headed off the battlefield. See, yeah, 540 men versus about 5,000 rats. We've lost a good deal of our numbers, but that is mostly Forsaken. So the meat, the real quality of my army, is not gone whatsoever. And you can see that that is the case anywhere the Skaven faces the Trolls and the Chosen. The rout is quick and decisive, and the leaders are being torn apart by Feral Manticore. But this doesn't stop the AI from getting their stat buffs, and so they will not be so easily routed, despite the fact that I have meticulously dissected the leadership in their army and destroyed many of their key units. See my chariots here getting bogged down in some of their infantry as I try to retreat. My guys kind of consistently ignore my orders to retreat and just continue to blob back into combat. But it's not a big deal. Skaven can't really deal enough armor-piercing damage to really concern me. I'd have to be bogged down for a considerable period of time amongst these storm vermin to really have any concern. See here, some storm vermin are getting ripped apart. This Grey Seer is being chased off. And I'm kind of just regrouping my army back here around the cannons and letting the cannons do their work. Every time Gutter Runners come, you can't catch these guys. They poison you, and they're just a nuisance. So I just use my cannons to quickly deal with them. Even when they rout, you can't seem to catch them or get rid of them. Yeah, so you can see Skaven scattered all over the battlefield. So what I'm going to do is just send a couple of infantry units over here. My Gore-Beast chariots are kind of leading all of this regrouped infantry right back to its doom. It's another one of those Grey Seers that doesn't like to just go ahead and die. They like to be little Johnny Rat lives a lot. Gore-Beast chariots are such a tool against Skaven. You see that the Skaven are not going to like this very much. And then piling on top of it, I've got my elite infantry right behind. So as if the chariots weren't trouble enough for the Skaven, they're going to be faced by heavy elite infantry. Now, at this point, the Skaven are about to get a couple of artillery units to come in as reinforcements. You can see their reinforcements coming in. There's going to be a Warp Lightning cannon moving on soon. You can see more Slingers. And some of these are Night Runners, actually. So, I could be thinking of a different battle, but I'm pretty sure I saw some Night Runners. Now, these are all... Yeah, right here, Night Runners. So this is a pretty serious sling unit. Rat Ogres coming on, so you can see just more and more reinforcements piling in. It's now up to 5,600 rats, so this was an over 10-to-1 deficit once again. I have to go back and look at the campaign history books, but this would not be the first time that Fellman has faced 10-to-1 odds against rats that Air called 100-to-1 odds because of my maths. Yeah, so now you can see this is really the only danger to my Chosen is the artillery, and because of all these reinforcements coming on, it's stabilized the leadership of the Skaven, annoyingly, even though I have pretty effectively dealt with them up to this point. So the leadership of their units, well, I mean, it's as stable as leadership on Skaven can get. I do have to be careful because these Rat Ogres have the capability to down a Manticore, and I have one that's berserking back here. Fortunately for me, it stopped berserking, and I'm going to be able to click an attack order on this Warp Lightning cannon momentarily. It starts getting stagger animated by all these Slingers, and I wasn't able to click an order very easily. It's kind of annoying that a Manticore is getting staggered so easily by just cheap Skaven slave slingers. Yikes. Tongue twister going on there, folks. So again, the Skaven regroup over here because of the reinforcements. I'm going to go after the Plague Claw Catapult. It will die quickly. Remus was able to dive in on the Warp Lightning Cannon, quickly dispatch one of the artillery units so that it can no longer fire. But he's getting hit by a lot of sling fire Cocoa Pox, meanwhile, gets some magic back, and he's going to drop some Fate of Buna on these annoying gunner rudders and chase them off. Should be able to cause considerable damage to them. Wow, you can catch a Skaven Slinger. Hardly knew it was possible. So the cutter runners are going to get run off. Fate of Buna putting a dagger through their little rat hearts. And back here, Remus has gone berserk, and he's being approached by rat ogres. This is getting a little bit desperate for me. So I need to cause a lot of damage. I've sent my trolls back here to support the Manticore, because I really don't want my Manticore to die. Plague Claw Catapult's gone, so that actually kind of starts to turn the tide of battle, losing those 2 artillery pieces. And what should have happened earlier finally happens, and the Skaven leadership crumbles, as we kind of expected. Yeah, the only thing even holding that Skaven attack together as long as it was the stupid cheating AI leadership buffs that they get because of the difficulty level. So, whatever. Felman once again demonstrates why, no matter what rat stack it is completely inferior to his men. We're going to have to give his units some anti-rat names. We did lose a few Forsaken, but honestly, I think I'm just going to replace those 3 units with Chosen, and then I'll keep these 2 Forsaken right here. And we'll make the rats realize that all they're doing is just building up the Chosen of Felman's army with all of the deeds that he does. Alright, so Skaven is revealed for Clan Molder. Well, duh. We done found them. They're infesting Fort Strahov, and they're trying to get away with continuing to have way too many troops. Every time I start to move Kolek one direction, I end up just going back another. Let's see if there's anything here. Nothing there. Anything at Volksgrad? I'm gonna check these settlements to make sure there's no Skaven hiding out there. We're already in an encampment with Felman's army, so let's take his army and do some recruiting. And we're gonna get a couple of Chosen. These guys, we're just gonna get the shielded variant. Should be good multi-purpose tools for holding out a very long time in a fight, no matter what the situation is. If they end up fighting dwarves eventually, we'll be glad we have them, because they will help take some of the what is sure to be withering fire there. Apologize, my phone was sending somewhere where you're going to be able to hear all that nonsense. Chaos Trolls, Chaos Giants. Let's see. We can redestroy Grung Zint, which is not going to be difficult. Take the growth yet again. We pick up a potion of toughness with Vardic Crom. That's actually kind of huge. Let's see. Let's put that potion of toughness on him because it has some healing. He doesn't have a mount yet. We can go ahead and put this magic resistance on him because it's probably... Ooh, physical resistance and post-battle loot. That is pretty handy. Let's go to his Exalted Hero who needs some gear here. We can put the Helm of Discord on him and the Hellfire Sword. And let's give this guy that causes fear and terror. That could be super useful when he gets on a horse and starts moving around the battlefield for rear attacks. Zealot and Occultist. So this guy's going to spread Chaos Corruption like crazy. And then Terhilius needs some stuff here. Let's give him the Helm of Discord as well. I feel like he could cause a great deal. And we'll give him the Tormentor Sword. So you're going to torment people, Terhilius. And, oh my goodness. Look at this. Oh, it's on Kolek. I was like, what? No wonder that was too good to be true. Could give him Assault of Stone. Absorbs leadership from enemies. That's pretty cool. Skull of Catan reduces... Yeah, none of these are going to help him build up his own magic. Let's give him this Assault of Stone. That's kind of a cool item. Is there some reason why it's not letting me? Okay. Not really sure what's going on there. Arcane item. Well, I don't know what's going on, Tirhilius, but they really don't want you to pick up an arcane item. I may try again on the next turn and see if it's just some kind of...
They will be dominated.
Wow, nothing is working. Alright, like I said, try it next turn. Vardek levels up. Let's finish making his chosen, since they're the backbone of his army. We want to make them extremely powerful. Looks like the High Elves are just going to settle in for the siege over here, which is a massive mistake for them. But, I mean, I don't know what else they can do. I mean, look how overrun they are. I have never seen so many armies for a single faction on a campaign map before. Some of these are not full armies, but, I mean, the Dark Elves have an unreal number of armies on the battlefield. And some of them are not a joke, either. I mean, this is a lot of fairly serious armies. This one, bit of a meme, as are some of these small ones.
What do you seek?
But I mean, there's a lot of Blackguard involved in these armies. Monsters, kinds of stuff. So,
Chosen of Hecate.
can't see what the Blessed Dread is bringing to bear. So for Cocoa Pox, he can now get an Arcane Conduit, which will be of great value to him. Patchy the Eversalt might as well hit an encampment. And let's see if there's anything useful for us to build. I think so. He doesn't have any knights in his army, but it could be good to have. Or was I going to build something different? He can get giants, he can get gore beast, he can get back this stuff. Yeah, we'll make it possible for him to recruit knights just in case we need them. The Sword of Cain changed hands, apparently. I don't know who it would have changed hands with back here, whoever's fighting against the Lizardmen, but whoever holds it will be the one who falls with it, as Archaon claims his sword. And it will be his sword. Alright, let's take Vardek and move over here and continue to clear out the Bretonnians, who are desperately resettling everything they can, which is about all the AI does these days. There's Lewin. Knew he had to be hiding somewhere. And then Felman Ingerson, Reborn, is quite tired of the rat nonsense. It's giving the rats the benefit of the doubt here. Folks, I can't make this up. How many defeats before the auto-resolve can learn here? And what is it about this Skaven army, or walls, that gives them a chance? How can this Skaven army put down 6 chosen units? I don't think so. So Felman Ingerson is absolutely tired of the vermin bringing the fights to him. So they are squatting in this former settlement of Kislev here. How dare they kill one of my trolls? Get up! Get back in the fight. So we're going to go over here. Cocoa Pox actually leading the way here. And we're going to teach the Skaven once and for all that their hidey holes cannot keep them safe. Felman is going to finish off Clan Mulder, and who better at this point? I mean, Kolek certainly slaughtered a lot of these rats, but Felman has pulled off some absolutely epic victories. Now, of course, the Skaven are going to start summoning crap in the middle of my hell cannons. But this is the thing I didn't understand. Like, I understand they have towers, and the towers add some power here, but I mean, who's the AI kidding with that auto-resolve? Give me one way that it would even be feasible, under any circumstances in this battle, for this many chosen to be stopped by clan rats and Skaven slaves. I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, the reinforcements for the Skaven are coming in through the woods over here, and I'm going to start picking them off by hitting them with the Manticores for terror, and then follow-up damage with my chariots. Now, there are a lot of reinforcements over here, more than these units can handle. I can't actually see all these units, and once again, as Skaven reinforcements have proved in the past, they're completely inept, most of them not even moving. So, CA please. Yeah, you can see I'm just going to pick off some of these units one by one and start ousting them from the battlefield. This is 3,500 rats that we're going to be facing, and you can see their numbers dropping quickly. Let's jump over to the battle on the walls and let you all see how my Chosen are dealing with the Skaven infestation. Quite easily. There's Coco Pox leading the charge. Fellman is trying to fight his way through the trolls, and it looks like he's made it in there. I'm going to pull Coco Pox back so that he can unleash a little bit of Nurgle's pestilent glory on these rats. I'll let you all see it. He felt like these rats needed some sun since they're kind of in the middle of a winter time here, so he's going to conjure up the purple sun here. That cleaned out the rat defenders pretty quickly. And now my Chosen are going to be able to start coming down from the walls. We got rid of this Plague Claw catapult. We're going to push their crew back. They get a little bit of a purple sunburn along the way as well. So essentially at this point it's just going to be my trolls and my sorcerer. Wow, yeah, vomit on those rats. Give it to them. Come on, I want to see some more troll vomit. Someone puke on them. They deserve it. You know, the rats probably like it when my guys barf on them, because it just makes them, like, more diseased. Warp Lightning would be doing a lot of damage to a big ball of infantry, but it's not going to do a tremendous amount of damage to trolls. We'll do some. There's really no hope for the Skaven in that fight. And at this point, I realized just how many reinforcements there were over here. And some of my units start to be bogged down, so I'm going to go ahead and retreat, because the Skaven decided, hey, we should use our reinforcements against all these units that are destroying our vermin brethren rather than just sitting around on our thumbs. So I'm going to pull these units out of the woods because they're now following me. I like how these Chaos Chariots come pre-prepared with like snow wheels there, you know? The extra tread. I mean, when they're covered in gore and guts and everything like that too, they're going to need some extra tread in there to make sure they can keep getting good traction. So I've now got my 2 Hell Cannons aimed here at the emerging Skaven reinforcements, and we're going to pretty quickly put an end to this. There shouldn't be many rat strongholds left. We're going to get rid of all of them. I'm very tired of this. I've had enough rat ambushes. I don't even know how many rats we've killed at this point. It's probably been at least 20 or 30,000 clan rats that we've killed. And I want to finish off the vampires. That way I can head south, and Fellman and Kolek are going to engage the stunties. They're quite a ways south. I think all the way actually to the south and east of Sylvania. And some of the settlements there in the mountains, so we'll have to go take care of them. At this point I went ahead and turned around my chariots. I'm going to continue firing with the Hell Cannons, and I've got some infantry lined up in the background. You can actually see that the rats feel like they actually want to engage Forsaken, the clan rats. Perfectly okay with that. Meanwhile, my chariots and manticores are having a field day with the support of the Hell Cannons. We're having no problem blasting through all these reinforcements, giving their crews some much-needed target practice to get ready for the opening of stunty season. Coming soon. And there is no bag limit on beards. So that's going to be the end of the rats. And there shouldn't be many more. Yep. What happened, Scalpite? What happened, Traer the Warpsmith? The auto-resolve said you guys were gonna win. What happened? You mean flimsy, unarmored rats are no match for the Chosen? Who would have guessed? Well, at least the Hell Cannons enjoyed their free target practice. The chariots and Romulus and Remus were fed well this day, so they won't be hungry.
We shall guide to best kills.
Alright, Sapper. And somehow these guys managed to get away alive untold numbers of times. I'm guessing Fort Ostrosk is, yep, infested. And there's another skunk rat trying to get away from us over here. Let's do nothing, and let's get Kolek to beeline it after this rat army so we can see where they're headed and keep an eye on them. Let's put this other point in assassination. Can use this guy against potential enemies here. And then Vardek is in position to re-destroy Couronne soon. I think next episode we're going to go ahead and fight the battle against Tyrion and finish off the High Elf Prince. I would say once and for all, but he's already finished. And Archaon is well on his cruise towards the Sword of Cain, which is currently housed with the Lizardmen. So we should be able to gain it soon. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I think what I'm going to do for the next episode is I think there's going to be, obviously I'm going to show you this battle, but I think there's going to be some repetitiveness here in the sense that I'm going to be chasing these same old wussy Bretonnian armies. I'm going to have to just hunt down the rats. You guys have seen enough rat hunting. So I think what I'm going to do is make one episode that kind of summarizes a couple of highlights, get that stuff done, and then that way we can move on to the final phase of the campaign, which is going to be to finish off the dwarves, obtain the sword with Archaon, and if you all want, you can create another objective for me. Should I go after Manfred, or you know, should I clear out Norska and make Norska chaos again? You know, like what? You all help me come up with something. Anyway, if you enjoyed watching it, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next episode.